now live. Awesome. What is up, guys? Welcome to your lunch break with John. So I hope you brought your lunch with you. Hope you're going to enjoy it while we talk. I'm just going to give it a minute, let some people file in, and then we'll begin. So, real quick, I want to recap. Uh, Last week we talked about liberty all week. You know, we started out with first of all, what is liberty? Then we talked about, do we need liberty? Why would we want it? And what else? What was the other one? Anarchy. We talked about a little bit of libertarian anarchy, and then we discussed my criticisms of libertarianism. So this week, I want to get into some fictional philosophies. Uh, like today, we're starting with the philosophy of the Jedi. Tomorrow, we'll discuss the philosophy of the Sith. And then Wednesday, we'll be doing the philosophy of the Mandalorians. I still haven't decided what I want to do for Thursday, but I'll figure it out. Maybe another Star Wars one. I'll just keep I'll just keep it consistent with Star Wars philosophies. But we'll see. We will see. I've also got a couple of announcements to make. A couple of channel announcements. The first being tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Robert and I will be doing kind of an extra show, a nice little, relaxing. Probably not going to involve too much politics, but we'll see what happens. It's more for just like hanging out with you guys and having fun. And speaking of hanging out with you guys and having fun, that brings me to my second announcement. Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be doing a fan movie night. So we'll be inviting you guys to come watch a movie with us. Now, that one won't be streamed for obvious reasons. We'll get taken down immediately trying to, watch a movie on YouTube. So we're just going to kind of do a Zoom call with all of you guys. So if you want to be a part of that, message me on Discord or on Twitter and I'll send you the link. And I'll probably just post it in the announcement section of the Discord anyway. And you can just go in there anytime you want. We'll be watching Christmas Vacation, I believe, on Thursday. So if you want to be a part of that, let me know. Like I said, I'll put the link out on Discord. And yeah, hope to see you there. And it's going to be a fun time. I see we've got Sully Blue in the chat. How's it going, man? Says Ayo. Yeah, today's gonna be a fun one, man. We're gonna talk about the philosophy of the Jedi. So I guess now's a good time to start. So firstly, I want to go before we discuss the philosophy of it. We need to understand it. So I've got here pulled up, um, kind of the inspirations for the Jedi philosophy. The first one is going to be Taoism. That one's pretty obvious, I think. Because the two main goals of Taoism is to achieve balance and to exist in harmony with nature and all living beings. As we know, that's a big part of, being a Jedi. um, the energy that's expressed in the world going to be, like the force is basically the yin and the yang, right? There's the light side force and there's the dark side force. And yin and yang comes from Taoism. So, but the deal is that it needs to be balanced. In Taoism, it says it needs to be balanced. Whereas, and this is kind of where the Jedi depart from Taoism, so they believe that those two forces exist and are pushing against each other. However, one needs to triumph over the other. Whereas Taoism would say, no, it needs to be balanced. You need both in your life. Um, but so where Jedi depart from Taoism, it goes into a religion that I had actually never heard of until earlier this morning when I was doing some research. Um, it's apparently an ancient Persian religion called Zoroastrianism, and it's actually like even though it's very ancient and Persian. It's the philosophy of it has kind of gone into a lot of the other religions, especially the three main ones, the three biggest ones that are in the world right now. Um, all Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. In that the world is in a constant like battle. It's an eternal battlefield between the forces of good and evil. So that's basically what like the entire world is, and that's what it's not only external but internal as well. So there's constant battle between good and evil outside yourself and also within. But the whole point of that is to have one side dominate the other, and this is kind of where you get the light side, dark side, feud in Star Wars. One's trying to take over and destroy the other. Um, let's see. Yeah, the example giving from Christianity is the conceptualization of the devil as a force opposite and almost equal to God's power. So you've got the good that is supposed to be, God is encompassing all good, just like the light side is encompassing all good parts of the force, and then you have the devil, Satan, who is conceptualized as like the evil, everything that is evil in the world, just like the dark side is supposed to be that way. Um, Now that's a huge flaw in the Jedi philosophy is that one side is all good and one side is all bad. That is probably the core of the issues with Jedi philosophy. Because that's never the case. No one person, even, someone who spent their entire lives trying to be just one thing, no one person has all good or all evil in them. And that's kind of the lesson that you get with the original trilogy with Darth Vader and the prequel trilogy, right? Anakin doesn't start out as an evil person. It's his passions that draw him to the evil and the fact that he can't deal with the problems that he had when he was younger or coming up, such as like holding his mother in his arms as she's dying, that whole attachment thing that Jedi always try and discourage. And we can talk about that with the third influence for Jedi philosophy, which is Buddhism, Zen Buddhism specifically, which is mostly found in Japan. They heavily discourage, Buddhist monks will heavily discourage attachment to people or places or things. It's basically just about being present in the moment and uh, focusing on whatever the task is at hand at the moment. Which is why you'll see them develop skills, like one skill they'll develop and be almost superhumanly good at it because it's like the only thing that they do. And so you can kind of see the influence with that with Jedi, right? Um, who they'll specialize usually in one or maybe two or three things, but usually there's one thing that each Jedi is very good at. So those are some of the influences there. Okay, nothing in the chat, so we'll move on. Um, so the Jedi follow. There's a few, I guess, writings. They follow a code, the Jedi code, and there's, I believe, 21 maxims. So let me read. Let me read to you the Jedi code, and we'll talk about each line for a moment. There is no emotion. There is peace. There is no ignorance. There is knowledge. There is no passion. There is serenity. There is no chaos. There is harmony. There is no death. There is the Force. So, right off the bat, it's a pretty common misconception that there's trying to say that there is actually no emotion and that there is only peace, which is, of course, ridiculous, right? Of course, there are emotions, and even Jedi are supposed to feel emotion. It's the the idea behind the Jedi code is to it's an ideal to live up to, right? It's not saying that these things don't exist, that emotion, ignorance, passion, chaos, and death don't exist, because of course they do. It's about conquering them so that there will be none of that in your life, although there will be. It's supposed to be an unattainable goal, but something to work towards incessantly. Um, so the first one, there is no emotion, there is peace, and that's a very Buddhist or Taoist thing to say. Um, as in, it's actually it's I would say it's more even Vulcan from Star Trek, if you want to go uh, with that analogy or with that comparison. Uh, you know to rid yourself of extreme emotions is more like what the Jedi did. Uh, so you wouldn't feel extreme anger, but frustration is something that you could feel. But you wouldn't feel extreme happiness either, but you try for contentment instead. So it's just about regulating your emotions and not allowing them to take over, and especially affecting your decision making is really what that's about. Uh, the next one is there is no ignorance, there is knowledge. Now, of course, I think that's pretty self evident that there's a lot of ignorance out there. But again, it's it's more symbolic than it is supposed to be taken seriously or literally. So the goal is that you will have no ignorance because you will have knowledge. Now, of course, it's impossible for one person to have all of the knowledge that there is to have. But that's the goal to attain, right? To wipe away ignorance wherever you find it in yourself. Um, there is no passion, there is serenity. And that doesn't mean that you can't be passionate about things. It just means that you can't let the passion blind you to what's going on around you. To be more present in the moment. That's kind of where they're coming from on that one. There is no chaos. There is harmony. Um, Again, it's not to be taken literally. Of course, there will always be chaos somewhere. Somehow there will be chaos. But it's more about how you deal with a chaotic situation. You know, not panicking for one. Um, Keeping a level head, making a decision based on reason and logic or rationality, rather than making some uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Fuck. What's the word I'm looking for, man? I hate when that happens. Uh, anyway, yeah, just don't not losing yourself in a chaotic situation. Be able to keep a level head and just making a decision that isn't just based on panic or uh, basically just panic. And there is no death, there is the force, which is basically what most religions teach, right? If you replace there is no death, there is heaven and God, then you basically got a precept for uh, Christianity, right? Because they believe that people don't really like the body dies, but it goes to heaven, or the spirit goes to heaven. Same with the Jedi, right? Except for it's not heaven; it's just you become one with the Force again, which is a more materialistic argument, or kind of what science says now, which is we're all made up of atoms, and we're all made up of like matter, and you can't destroy or create matter. So if you when you die, your matter goes back into like the rest of the universe's matter, right? So it's basically it's almost like scientific there, the way that they say that. So real quick, let me scroll down here. Oh shit! I didn't grab the precepts, but that's all right. 21 maxims. So right, we got Ron Helton in the chat here, throwing up a bunch of skull and crossbones and alien heads. What's up, Ron? we go. All right. And Hilton, you're on YouTube, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So, I guess that's all I had in the way of things pulled up. Uh, Behavioral modification. I mean, yeah, that's what any philosophy is, right? When you follow a philosophy, you're basing your life around it, um, and you are, you're adjusting the way that you behave and interact with the world based on your philosophy. So yeah, modification. Um, but the problem that I see with the Jedi philosophy is that it rejects the things that make you a human. Um, your emotions make you human. They're part of who you are. Your passions make you who you are. Uh, even chaos, even within yourself, from the chaos that is in you, you can either become a much better person because of it, or you could become a worse person because of it. But I mean, chaos is a part of life, and trying to, I guess, run away from it or ignore it or just push it aside, I don't think is good for a person, mentally or emotionally. So yeah, it's like a religion completely based around reason and logic alone. There's really not much else to like. There's no um, consideration of your humanity in it. It's you need to reject humanity, reject the things that come naturally, and you know it's it's very dogmatic in the way that they kind of suppress. um, yeah, they kind of like suppress other ideas, especially the Sith, which we'll get to tomorrow. I'm excited to talk about that one. Uh, and they justify like okay, so there's a lot of contradictions in there. So in their philosophy. So one, uh, respect for all life. They don't kill unless they absolutely must, unless they see a Sith, and in which case it's attack on sight. No reasoning or rationalizing with them. It's just attack on sight, right? But meanwhile, the whole religion is based on not killing people as much as possible, right? Unless you absolutely have no choice. Um, and reason, rationale, and logic. So I mean, there's kind of a contradiction there. Uh, they they try and tell they try and say that they're like aloof and separate from the politics of the galaxy. Meanwhile, they're also deeply involved in the politics of the galaxy. So it's like there's a lot of different contradictions like that. Uh, that kind of you can like if you actually like pay attention to the timeline that it lays out from like the Jedi from the start to the fall of the Jedi, you'll actually see like you can foresee what's happening or what will happen, that it will lead to their downfall. Let's see, Ron Helton, achieving a higher plane of consciousness, ascension. In a way, yeah, but it's also very much about selflessness, um, and that comes from the Buddhist influence. That's kind of what Buddhism does is you remove the self from everything, and that leaves you selfless, and you're able to then go and help people as much as possible, and that's what the Jedi are in theory supposed to do. Although if you read the expanded universe and or play the video games or whatever, you'll see there are a lot of people who thought that the Jedi and the Sith weren't really all that different. that it was just another form of control, over them. Uh, Ron Hilton says, "Hey John, hey Ron. Yes, there are no other streams for your chat." Oh, right, right, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to stream from here to D Live and YouTube, so I'm just doing mine on YouTube, so I can either figure that out or whatever. But if that's it, not sure I have any more, unless you guys have any questions that you want to ask or any criticisms of what I've said that you want to discuss. Then I'll get going here in a minute. Let's find out. No? Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna head out of here. Reminder, tonight, yes, tonight, we have at 10 p.m., Robert and I will be doing another stream. Uh, Silly Blue says, I feel like Avatar's philosophy is similar. Yeah, a lot of it is. A lot of it is. In fact, you know what? I think we can talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about that on Thursday. We'll talk about the different philosophies of like the Avatar, the Airbenders, Earthbenders, all those. Maybe we'll do that next week. I don't know. We'll see. As far as the force of those live on beyond their time, but only through avatars, not as a full force. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. So anyway, reminder: tonight, 10 p.m. Robert and I are gonna do a stream. We're gonna watch some cool videos, some funny videos, just things to make us laugh, and we're just gonna hang out with you guys. So in our Discord, you'll notice that there's a new channel, new text channel called Funny Video Submissions. So go if you have any funny videos that you want to see on stream, just throw that the link in there, and we'll watch it on the stream tonight. Also, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have we're gonna be watching Christmas Vacation with you guys. So we're gonna send out a Zoom link on the Discord. If you follow me on Twitter and not in our Discord, you can just message me and I'll send you the Zoom link, and we'll all watch it. So that'll be fun. And yeah, other than that, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out our description. We can find all the links. If you want to follow us on Twitter, if you want to join our Discord server, it's all down there. Go check it out, and I will see you guys